The moment a play begins is the point of attack. The point of attack and doubt is when Father Flynn begins to deliver a sermon on the subject of doubt. And this point of attack occurs early in the story of Sister Aloysius's campaign against Flynn. The actual story began 2 months before, so off stage, on the first day of school, when Sister Aloysius saw something that bothered her. It was when Flynn reached out to touch a student, a boy's wrist, and the boy pulled away. The incident aroused doubt in Aloysius. It aroused a mistrust for Flynn, and the sermon triggers a memory of that moment, and therefore it triggers a campaign to get Flynn exposed and fired. That action is Sister Aloysius's quest. That means the sermon is also the inciting event because it triggered that memory for Sister Aloysius and therefore triggered her campaign against Father Flynn. We will learn later that Flynn's ideas for sermons grow out of his daily life and are recorded in a little black book. That book is a payoff. The sermons are plants. Since the play is structured around a single protagonist, Sister Aloysius, the central conflict is, for her, Flynn himself. In her eyes, conflict is the danger that he poses, Father Flynn poses for her students, and her duty is to protect them. She cannot do that as long as Father Flynn is around. And why? That's because this play is taking place in the 60s. And to be honest with you, we are seeing through some other films, and not just films, but stories in the news, that even today, a trusted religious figure like a priest and a bishop is virtually beyond reproach. So in scene 4, when Sister James first reports her concerns about Father Flynn to Sister Aloysius acknowledges the difficulty of defeating Father Flynn. In my opinion, what is at stake for Sister Aloysius is her position, her duty and life to God to care for these children. That's at stake. In scene 2, this idea is supported when she coaches Sister James how to handle the students. Strategically speaking, Sister Aloysius does 3 things. First, she must learn the truth. So her tactic for doing so is to put Sister James on alert of any troublesome acts on Father Flynn's part. Her tactic worked. It was a success because Sister James reported some wrongdoing when Donald Muller came back to her classroom after having a private moment in the rectory with Father Flynn and smelling of alcohol, and he looked disturbed. The next tactic in scene 5 is to get Flynn in Sister Aloysius's office. That's her tactic, and to get him off guard, to have Sister James there because as nuns they need to have another person in the office when there's a male and female in there. But also Sister James is a witness, is also there to support Sister Aloysius's argument and what was seen. And then part of that tactic, therefore, is to get Father Flynn to confess. The second strategic step is to gather allies with Sister James and with Mrs. Muller in scene 8. Sister Aloysius's third and final strategy is to attack. In scene 8, she threatens Father Flynn's existence, and she falsely claims she has incriminating evidence against him, to which he does not deny, and he ends up calling to request transfer to another parish. So this is success for Sister Aloysius. There's also so much subtext in this play. It is layered throughout in Father Flynn's sermons and in the first dialogue between Sister Aloysius and Sister James. As far as reversals go, Sister Aloysius's experiences her first reversal in scene 4 when Sister James reports what happened when Donald Donald Muller came back to her classroom after having been alone with Father Flynn in the rectory. This information is all Sister Aloysius needs to take action. Another reversal comes in scene 5, when Sister Aloysius confronts Father Flynn about Donald Muller. And a battle line is drawn between the two of them that threatens both of their existence at St. Nicholas Parish. Another reversal occurs in the first half of scene 8 when Sister Aloysius meets with Donald Muller's mother, Mrs. Muller, in the hopes of getting her to support and stand behind her accusations against Father Flynn. But instead, the mother turns against Sister Aloysius and insists that she leaves things alone. She's, quote, says, "I don't want to get into it." She doesn't deny it, but she doesn't want to accept it either. And this means Sister Aloysius has to rethink her plan to accomplish her goal. So the crisis decision for Sister Aloysius, 2 things that she has to decide between: end her campaign against Father Flynn, or use deception to scare Flynn away. And what does she choose? She chooses to lie. She will risk being damned to hell, that's what she said, to fulfill her duties as a guardian of students. As the most intense part of the dramatic journey, the climax for Sister Aloysius is in scene 8 when she confronts Father Flynn and they have their showdown. Father Flynn doesn't confess necessarily, but he does agree to request a transfer. So he accepts defeat. The final stage direction, which, note, there are very few throughout this play, is lights fade. Again, it is one of the few times that the script specifies a fade out at the end of a scene. Darkness. Remember, subtext, so much to be read between those lines. The resolution is Sister Aloysius' battle against herself, against her own demons. After all, she did commit the sin of lying, and she confesses this sin, but she does not confess it to a priest, as Catholics must do. She confesses it to Sister James, and she confesses that she also confesses that she's overwhelmed with her doubts, maybe in men, maybe in her faith, maybe in the Catholic Church. But note, for the first time in the play, we see her soften, we see her connect, we see her bent with so much emotion. Her hardness has broken, at least for this moment. So that right there is a character arc.